Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. I don't know why I didn't think that was in frame. For the supportive oracle cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards, and they're by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. There's the last name, just in case you want to look them up if you like them. Okay. Let's put these cards over there. Already shuffled. I think it's been going on for a while. That's my first thought. This has been going on for a while. It really does feel like it. Okay, what do we got here, Capricorn? Not for nothing, I did put out a lot of cards, but it's drawn out, and what I'm feeling with this is like this is something that's been going on for a while, and this last period, there's been a lot of looking at the history of this situation, wondering why people are saying what people are saying. Like certain people are acting ways, and you're trying to figure it out, and even when you think you figured it out, they do something else, and you're like, what's up with that? It's almost like 1 minute they're nice to you and they're helping you with this and you're helping you with that. The next minute they're accusing you of like screwing them over or something like that. And it's like, what? Like, pick a personality, dude. It's like, seriously, am I your friend or your foe? And what? And you're literally doing the same thing. It's like, I'm not doing anything different. Why am I your friend one day and I'm your enemy the next? And I'm not doing anything different than I have been. It doesn't make sense. And you're trying to make sense of it. You got the Moon card, the Five of Wands. This is the Wands, right? Yep. And then the Six of Cups. Like, you're just like, it's been going on for a while. You're trying to understand, like, why is this person this way? Like, do they have a chemical imbalance? What's the deal? This is somebody who seems to flit in and out of your life. Not because you're stepping away from them, but just because, like, they're there, then they're gone. Then they're there, then they're gone. For some of you, this is like a sun. I'm literally getting like it's a sun for somebody. They're there, they're gone. They're there, they're gone. They're there, they're gone. And 1 minute you're their best buddy. The next minute you're the reason that everything in their life is wrong. It's not that way for everybody. Like there's different connections here. For some of you, there's definitely a work situation where this is like someone you have to work with, and they drive you nuts because it's kind of like you don't know how to handle them from one day to the next because you're like, I don't know, like, is it happy day or is it evil man or evil person? Whatever. Like, what's going on here? I used to a long time ago, I used to work with a lady like that. Just happened to be a lady. If she was limping, she was Satan. If she wasn't, she was the nicest person you ever had to deal with. It was the craziest thing. Not that I believe in Satan, but you know, whatever. You get the point. This is really awkward here because I feel like you're trying to not be overly involved in it, but you can't get away from it. For what it's like job or family, or for some of you it's a friend connection. I get that, but it's like one of those things where you're trying not to get overly bound to it, but it's here, it's gone. You can't seem to get away from it. You kind of want to, but you kind of don't at the same time. It's just kind of like you're just rolling with it. You're trying to just roll with it. And you're like, this is madness. This is flat out madness. The energy around you, this person, I feel like it's a person. I don't think it's a situation for most of you, but it's a, it's a general reading. Take it with a grain of salt, of course. You got recovery coming in with bittersweet and impartiality. Like, the energy you're dealing with, the person, I really feel like it's a person. They seem to be thinking things are getting better, but they're going through like for some of you, you're dealing with somebody who has a substance abuse problem, whether you know it or not. Especially if they're very erratic. Like some days they're doing well, other days they kind of relapse is what I'm getting. I don't know exactly how that works. I really don't. But I'm getting like you have no idea that they're going through something like that. And I feel like it could be for some of you, somebody you're very close to is going through like this withdrawal, relapse, roundabout feel. You just don't realize that that's what's going on, and that's why they're acting so erratically, because they think things are getting better. they think things are getting better. If they are or not, it's subjective. Because they got bittersweet with impartiality coming out of this recovery. Kind of like, it's like one minute they blame you for everything, the next minute they think you're you're their best friend, and every now and then they realize like they don't know what's going on. Like they're confusing themselves. I feel like this confused person is having like they don't know what to think. Like I just feel like there's something unstable about this situation. It could be their environment, it could be their daily life and what they're dealing with, and it just throws them off. It could be literally an emotional imbalance. But something is definitely not right here, because impartiality with bittersweet is kind of like they try to step back and they try to understand why they feel one way one moment and one way another, and they don't seem to be able to really get a hold of it. They can't really grasp why they're feeling the way they're feeling when they do. Because sometimes they just think you're the best thing since sliced bread and they don't understand why. Other moments they think, you're the reason that everything in their life is wrong. And it doesn't make sense any more than the other. They can't grasp it. I just feel like this is something where energy is just not... It's just too disruptive. There's confusion here. The confusion card is not out here. But I just feel like they're having a really hard time with this. You seem to be just continuing on. Like, this is just the beginning of this. This is kind of deep just to start with. Like, this is pretty convoluted. You seem to be just moving forward with this, kind of taking it as it goes. Forgiveness seems to be going back and forth. It's kind of like you understand how this person has been. You just kind of like, when they say something nice, you're like, well, that's good for today. When they say something mean, you're like, well, that's how they are today. I don't feel like you overinvest in whatever they say. Whatever they say, it's like, well, that's what they said today. That's probably good for the next 5 or 6 hours. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow. That seems to be how you're taking it. The other side seems to be like, they're just kind of like trying to make it the best of it. I'm getting like some emotional upset on the other side. It doesn't seem to be hitting very well. Like, they seem to understand that you just kind of give them a lot of leeway. And they're very thankful for that. I see that happening a lot. Like, you're giving them a lot of leeway. And they know that, and they're thankful for it. They want to have better control over it. I feel like they're having a hard time with that. That seems to be where this is coming from. Ironically, the way you're handling this, the way that you're just kind of like, well, that's good for today, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. I don't feel like you're making a big hubbub about much. You're just kind of like, well, this is just the nature of the beast at the moment. I don't know what's to do with it. This other person seems to be really kind of like realizing you're letting them get away with a bit. Like, no matter if they think you're the best thing or the worst thing, the hot cold thing is not right, and that's really too much to ask of anybody. And they're aware that that's happening. They're at least aware of that that's happening, and they're realizing I can't keep going like this. I also feel like this is a behavior they're pushing onto other people, not just you. And that's another thing with the bittersweet, kind of like other people are walking away from them. You seem to be not completely walking away from them. You just kind of seem to be rolling with it. And they're realizing I can't afford to keep doing this because people just keep walking away from me, and it's only a while. It's only how long before the Capricorn says I've had enough and they walk away too. Because they're starting to realize no matter what's going on here, it's going too far. And they can't keep acting like this and expecting things to be okay. Because other people are walking, I'm feeling that. Other people are walking away from them. So they got 4 cards coming in at once, which is good and bad at the same time. It's very interesting how these are balancing. The 6 of Wands is the first thing they're coming to. It's almost like they're getting accolades for acknowledging their own problem. Like there's something wrong here. No matter how they really feel about somebody, hot, cold is not good. Happy one minute, horrible the next. That's not good. And they're addressing that with themselves. They're also not sure what they're going to do about it. They got the 4 of Coins and then the Sun card right below it. Like, they don't know what to do about it, is what I'm getting. But that's also, the 4 of Coins is like, that's Pentacles, that's stubbornness. So they might be thinking they don't know what to do about it, or they don't think they can do anything about it. But that's kind of like that's a stubborn mode. It's like, instead of looking and like just going online, like, what do I do about this? Or mood swings, or just researching mood swings, or researching what they're going through, or trying to understand, or trying to find somebody to help them have an outside opinion. Instead of even just researching or trying to find an answer, they're just accepting, like, this is my fate. That's the Four of Pentacles. Kind of like, I don't know if there's really anything I can do about it, and just accepting it. The Sun card right below it is saying, it's almost like saying they're realizing that this isn't gonna cut it. So realizing that the problem is with them, the way they're handling it at the very least, that's making a big difference. Like, the Sun card is right side up and it's below them. It's like they need external help. Somebody else needs to help them. And I don't mean that in the sense of, like, like, somebody else needs to help them. Somebody else has to be that sounding board and be like, what are you doing? How are you going through life? And then helping them find other ways to handle things. They need somebody else. They need someone else's help. They need something. Even if it's like a self-help guru and it's a book they're reading, they need somewhere to start. They got to start somewhere. Are they telling you this? I don't think so. This is happening with them, and they're feeling a lot of stress about this, because even though they're feeling like, well, this is just how it is, there's nothing I can do about it, and they're kind of accepting it, at the same time they got the Five of Cups, like, I don't know how much longer this is going to keep going. Like, I'm going to have more fallout if I don't do something, but I don't think there's nothing I can do about it. It's very weird. It's kind of like, that's why the Sun card, I think, is at the bottom. Like, they can't keep going like this, but they're also kind of like being a little emotionally stubborn, like, there's nothing I can do. There is something they can do. They're blinded to it, is what I'm getting. You are noticing a weird energy with this. When this starts happening with this person, where they're starting to get into this energy, where they realize, like, there's a problem here, I can't keep going like this, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's really contradictive, I know that. You're noticing a strange change. You're noticing the Wheel of Fortune. You got the Nine of Cups and the Three of Cups. Like, this person is trying to almost, like, be nicer to you, or trying to make up for things for you, or there's like this really weird positive energy coming towards you. And I say it's weird because it's kind of like you've learned at this point not to trust it too long. Because it's like, how long does it go before, there goes the rug, and whoop, here I am on my ass. Well, there we go. How shocking. So you've learned not to trust it. And they're really going out of their way, and they're constantly doing this. It's just like this positive period, this good period, is lasting longer than you're used to. And you're like, it's almost making you nervous. That's why it's weird. Kind of like, oh boy, is this like pulling back of the rubber band? Like, they're just, the longer it goes, the farther back they pull, and then and snap right in the ass. I get, like, I don't know why I'm using that word so much, but there you go. It's really weird. It's uncomfortable. Like, it's a nice energy, but the Page of Cups, especially between you and them, is like, you kind of like it, but you're having a hard time trusting it. You're like, oh, how long does this last, and what's the what's the backlash for this going to be? Something is coming forward with this person. Something is definitely coming forward with this person. They have to make changes. I'm noticing this feeling here. It's a very weird card. It says rejection on it, but if you look at the picture, that's really kind of creepy to me. It's almost like somebody hearing voices or hearing things, or their own mind playing tricks on them. I feel like this is the part where they have to realize they need somebody else to step in and help them. This person, whatever they're going through, be it a substance abuse, maybe there's some type of confusion, that maybe there's some domestic abuse going on around them, or something else. Maybe it's just clinically unbalanced, chemically unbalanced. Maybe it is. Whatever it is, though, they're getting to a point where they have to accept that they're going to have to get external help. They have to. I literally feel, even though I said that thing about they at least have to get a book, a self-help guru book, at least, I don't think that would cut it in this situation. I really don't. I feel like they need a third party who understands what they're going through to step back and help them, take things down and get literal help for this. I feel like they literally need serious help. And I feel like when they come to this moment, like, it's like the breaking point. Like, it's either sink or swim. They either get the help, or like life is just going to double back on them. This has nothing to do with you in the sense of like what choice they make, but that's what's going to happen. It's make it or break it moment is what I'm getting for this. It really is. It's really kind of weird because I feel like whatever they choose, there's going to be a moment of reprieve for you. Whatever they choose, I feel like you're going to probably find out the truth here. Whatever they've been going through, now I do. I feel like the truth is going to come forward to you. When you find out the truth, whether they're getting help for it or not, the fact that you're finding it out, I think that's the miracle. It says miracle, but it's like that spirit coming out of that stump. It's kind of like release. It's kind of like the miracle is like you understand what's been going on. You can make sense of the history of this now. Like it makes sense to you why all of this has been going on. Like that missing puzzle piece has been finally handed to you, and you're like, that's it. This is why it's been like that. And you put it in the place it needs to go, and you're like, that's why it's been like this. It's like, it's not like you're happy about the situation itself, but the joy is because like, that's why this has been going on. Like, you're not happy about what this other person's going through, so don't take it the wrong way, but you're happy like, oh, well, that's why. Well, it finally makes sense. It's like a weight lifted off your shoulders, like, oh, well, that's why this has been happening. That makes sense to me. Not that you like the reason, but, like, it finally makes sense. And you're like, you're freed from it in a way. It's like a big weight off, like, oh, well, finally that makes some sense. Okay. Going forward, once you know what's going on, once it finally comes through, there's, it's not about the other person anymore. And what I'm getting is because now you see it for the truth that it is, and you got that final missing puzzle piece, you're going to handle it differently from there on, is what I'm getting. You got the Knight of Coins, you've got the Hanged Man, and you got the Magician all at the same time, which, especially these last two, the Hanged Man and the Magician, is very interesting. Because I don't feel this person exiting your life, and I feel like that's the Hanged Man. The Knight of Pentacles showing up at this point is telling me the way you've been handling it, with the new information, that changes your perspective greatly. And you're creating a whole different way to handle things, a whole different way. The Magician here is kind of like, even though this person's in your life, you're handling things a little bit differently. You're doing this, you're doing that. I also feel like you're not about to create any more chaos with this situation. This might be because you got trickery and faith. Now, I don't think this is bad, but there is some heavy energy with it, especially with the hiccups coming in. You're going to circumvent things, and you're going to make things look a little better than they actually are. And I'm getting the hiccups here. Like, this seems to be a rougher moment here. Even if things aren't good with you and this person, you're not going to let them know that. Due to the situation, you're like, I'm not adding into that. I'm not going to be a part of it. They're not going to be able to put any of that blame on me. Even though it wouldn't technically actually be blame on you, you're not going to let their mind even go there. You're just going to I'm just going to go like everything is fine, and I'm not going to worry about it. The trickery with the faith is kind of like, I'm just going to, whatever happens, I'm just going to roll with it, and it's always good. I'm just going to always go on. Are you really going to do that? I feel like you're going to act like it's good, even if it's not. And like you're like, for however long they're around me, whether they're being good to me or not, I'm just going to act like things are fine, and I'm just going to let it be. Because the way you're looking at whatever the situation is, you're just kind of like, there's nothing for me to add to it to improve it. Me getting upset or me even praising a situation, it's not working. It's not going to help. I feel like the trickery here also is just kind of like you're going to act like you're happier than you actually are. I just feel like you're going to put on the false face. Mostly because it's not, if you don't want to be dragged into it, and you don't want to have any other energy coming towards you about this. So if you just act like it's a non-issue, whatever this person has to deal with, well, they can center on dealing with that. You don't want them to think you're angry. You don't want them trying to make up for anything. Is that true? You don't want them trying to make up anything to you. Like, they're having issues. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. You don't want them spending any energy trying to fix things with you. No. Fix your problem. That's all you want. They need to go fix their problem. Deal with their problem. Don't spend any of that energy on you. You don't want that. You're like, nope, don't do it. I don't need it. I don't want it. So you're just going to act like everything is fine just so they center their energy on getting better, not trying to make things right with you. You're like, nope, I'm happy. We're all good. Everything is fine. That's the trickery with the faith. Like, you think it's the best thing to do. I don't think it's a bad thing at this point. At this point, I don't know if that's really something you want to do permanently, but you're kind of like, spend your energy in healing and heal yourself. Because you can't do that for them. And you know that. That's an interesting ending. I don't think it's bad, but I don't know. The comments below will tell me how y'all feel. Alright, so thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email. jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.